Yes, a warm welcome to you all. Mm. Welcome to Satsang, and welcome to all the friends who are joining us online today around the globe. It's always kind of a privilege to extend our antennas beyond this little room into the world and find the connection to all these friends that are actually with us here now. At a certain level within, you will know that there is no distance between anything. You will know that there's no time around anything. It's all here. And I find satsang, these kind of more or less formal meetings, I find them very helpful just to regularly remember, no? Especially when we are out in the world. I had a session with a friend today. She comes from China, an online session, and it was very interesting because it reflected something that I find pretty much everywhere, but it seems with Chinese conditioning it's even stronger. No? It is this apparent duality, which is actually not a duality. It is either we look out, and then when we look out, we are utterly dependent on people's opinion. If somebody likes you and approves of you, you feel good. If somebody doesn't like you and disapproves of you, you feel bad. Anybody has that? Yeah. No? This is our conditioning, and so very early we have learned, okay, how can I find more approval? But our attention is out. And maybe for the first half of our life, this is what we are training more and more. And it will never be satisfying. Because the moment we go out with our attention, the moment we ask somebody else who we are, people are very, very generous. They quickly tell you who you are. No, you are nice. You are reliable. You are capable. But the way you dress, no, this butt kind of hits right under the belt. Okay. So we have become so dependent on people's opinions. Why? Because this is how we got a first sense of me, and we didn't know that this me is a lie. It's a construct. It's a projection of anyone that sees you, and the first projection comes from our parents. You are gentle. You are nice. You are polite. And if you have more brothers and sisters, you will find that you occupy a different slot in the family than your brother or your sister or any one of those. If I look at myself, my brother was the rebel. He was kind of not following any orders, even though I had a very powerful and dominating father. So that slot was taken, so I needed to be the nice guy, the one that follows, that does the right thing. And it's crazy if you think of it. I always thought my brother is kind of much more intelligent than me. He's kind of so sharp and so present, and all the girls loved him. But in the family, he was seen as a failure because he wasn't good in school. So then I needed to fill that slot that is good in school and get all my attention. He attracted negative attention, more or less, especially from the male side, and I attracted positive attention. But negative attention from my brother, because he thought I'm a goody-goody, or whatever the judgment is. No? And none of it is true. But what a suffering is it, and you all know it, when your attention is out there. I don't know if you remember when you were kind of a teenager coming in puberty or beyond puberty and you went to a party. You remember? What a face you put up and how inside you feel so inadequate. And you think everybody else knows who they are, but you, or at least I, feel utterly insecure because I have no idea how to present myself in front of people that don't have yet a projection on me. Can you relate to that? Yeah, like parties, and then you present this glittering image, hopefully, if you manage, with the right clothes, or if you're cool, or you have a cigarette in your mouth, or anything, just something that sticks out a little bit, something special. And then we're always looking for something more special so that we can create a definition. And it gets more and more crazy what people do just to stand out. And hopefully when everything fails, we turn around. Or we meet somebody who is meditating and say, hey, forget the outward attention, especially on the level of defining yourself. Look within. And what happens when you first look within? Well, what happened when I first looked within, I had a beautiful glittering image as a young, successful doctor, title, profession, cool adventurer, and so on. And then I look within, and I find loads of rage, loads of sadness, intense sorrow, and my mind says, no, I don't want to go there. And yet, I want to go there. And then you're in the middle. If I go there, at least this is what my session today reflected back to me, because I remember it so well. If I go the inward journey, I will betray my parents, I will betray my family, I will betray my own ideals about how nice or how good I should be, how together I should be, how responsible I should be. If I really follow the inner journey, I'm moving into the unknown, and anything that I know needs to be left behind. This is why hardly anybody turns in, especially if we have become comfortable in our ego structure. And then I was lucky enough to meet this crazy guy, Osho, who created something where my ego structure was completely rebellious and my heart was totally in love. That was kind of the biggest split. And somehow he turned us more and more inward. Now, what we didn't know, and what many of you now have at least had a glimpse, or many of you more than a glimpse, is you turn in and you go deeper into your personality, and you realize that none of your personality structure is actually who you are. It is something that you can observe appearing. For example, I could observe, I lived in France as a kid, and then I came to a German school. And whenever I spoke French, I was a completely different person. And when I spoke German, I was another person. And then my parents moved to Greece, and I learned a little bit of Greek. And when I was in Greece, speaking Greek with a fisherman, I was again another person. So who the hell am I?
Lucky you came to Australia, mate.
No worries, mate. So when I'm Australian, there's another person. You know? And then eventually, when you're ready for the absolute, for being the absolute failure, because nothing that you try to achieve on the inner world actually looks the way you thought it would look, you may come to the conclusion that there is actually nobody inside. No form. Did anybody come there already? Sometimes at least? Give me a little hand sign. No? Yeah. And of course the ego doesn't like it, so it has more or less successful attempts to pull you out and say, Rahasya, you're just brainwashed now, get yourself together, get organized, you need to be making your living and you have a family and so on. But all that doesn't work anymore because the whole becoming doesn't work. And the attention goes more and more to being. Now, is there any effort in being? You need to respond either like this or like this. Is there any effort in being? And the more attention we give to that which has no form, because being has no form. Had anybody ever found a thing called being? And yet I am. So that's the great puzzle, that's the great mystery. I asked today Marie and Steve, well, what's the topic today? And they said, mystery. So here I just landed in mystery. And then everything stays the same, and yet if there is no body there, no I there, no form there, and still I am, so who am I? You figure this out. What is this I that is prior to form, prior to experience, prior to emotion, prior to thought, prior to body? What is this I? And even though there's never an answer, because it's not a thing that the mind can ever conceive, it is so clearly who I am. And it's so clearly who you are. And in that recognition, you and me, the whole thing disappears. There's only one me. Did anybody touch this already once or twice or a few times? That even the words you are me don't work anymore because there's still you and me in the word, and yet there's just one space that holds us all. Are you with me there? It's so simple. It is in a way also logical. I'm using my mind now to speak about it, but it is actually that which is aware of this mystery. That ignites the same recognition. And I don't know why you are here, but this is why I am here. I think it is such a beautiful possibility to remind each other. So if you have the projection that Rahasya is sitting here and you are sitting there and he knows and you don't, that's total nonsense. You are sitting here. So it always depends on who is sitting here, what comes out of my mouth, because it comes out of your mouth. Is that too mysterious? Now, if we allow that recognition to be the foundation of anything we want to explore, then the exploration can be so beautiful. Because then we don't believe in the reality of good and bad experiences. Take a breath. Is anybody still believing in good and bad experiences? I do sometimes. Yeah. But right behind where I reside, the space, the nature, the universe, the outer space and the inner space, do you think that has any opinion about good and bad? Is there anything bad in nature? Unless our human mind makes it bad. Is there anything good in nature? Unless our human mind makes it good. And of course, we don't need to deny that the body-mind has preferences. Like, for example, I have a pond here, and there are lotus leaves coming, and I've been waiting for lotuses, and suddenly there are 4 buds. It looks like a good experience. No? It's basically, I'm very aware that it's my projection, that I put on this red form that kind of grows every day in such a beautiful way. And even the beauty of it is my interpretation. Somebody else who said, oh yeah, nice, and finished. So all that continues on the level of body-mind. And yet, the more you rest as presence, the more you actually abide in not knowing, then these thoughts or these expressions that we label bring joy. No? Because we are not that. We're just witnessing a certain expression of the whole. Now it gets more intense if you translate that which is aware, that which is closer than good and bad. What if we call that the divine? It's for some of us who are more identified with body-mind, it's almost blasphemy. What do you mean? I am divine? Well, what else are we? Where do we come from? You know, just before we were at the beach and there were these young mothers with these tiny, tiny little babies walking at the beach. And where did this being come from? It started in nothing. Where did we come from? We all started as no thing. And then this no thing appeared as a body. Is that body separate from the mystery of the divine that created it? No, it cannot be. And in a way, we don't recognize the incredible gift until we are deeply moved by the mystery of life. But if you just look at your own body, I mean, isn't that enough mystery? You know, it's like a baby that is fascinated that this hand is moving, and somehow it looks like I can guide it into movement. Isn't that incredible? And then we make an eye out of it. Look, Mama, how I can move my hand. And we forget that the hand is just being watched as it moves. So in a way, I think we're sitting here just to drop beyond anything we know, to just let go into the unspeakable isness of things. Why is that so blissful? Why is that so peaceful? Why does it appear so loving? It seems to be like an inbuilt thing in divinity, that divinity is beauty. The Indians say Sat Chit Anand, the truth and consciousness brings bliss. Or Satyam Shivam Sundaram, the truth, the godliness, and the beauty. Is it difficult to relate to that in us? Not so much if we don't look outside. If we look in, infinite space is available. So, the mystery from the formless into form, I think from the colorless into color, the biggest mystery is the white, is the transparent, is the see-through. And Arasoma, in the quintessence form, has created that essence called Serapis Bey. It's one of these masters. I'm not very familiar with all the Arasoma masters, but it's basically an essence that is inclusive of everything, as we are. And as you know, the white is actually the source of all color. You look at the rainbow, you look at all these beautiful colors, and we're projecting our attention and our liking or disliking onto the colors, and we never look into the back from where the rainbow comes, from the pure white light. And that pure white light is like a symbol also for consciousness. Consciousness can take any form, but in itself it stays formless. Consciousness can move into any expression, but in itself it's expressionless. And if we understand the principle that wherever we put our attention is where our energy flows, so on that level we are kind of free to put our attention on the inner infinite rather than on the inner finite. Is that too much? Are you still with me? Yeah? Now I try to I tried to share something like this with this Chinese lady, and it didn't work. I failed completely, because she thought, she's actually quite pretty, she thought she is not pretty. She needs to do some plastic surgery, and she needs to do this and that to be pretty so that she feels good. And I looked at her, I couldn't believe my ears. It's like sometimes the features are maybe, medium, but she was very pretty. And just because her boyfriend, I should slap him, her boyfriend told her she's too fat and she's already looking too old. She looks like 15 and she's over 40. She really looks young, but it doesn't matter, It's like when your attention is onto faults that other people see in you, you're totally lost. You are faultless. Take a breath. Can you let that in? God does not make any mistakes, not even with you. Okay, Serapis Bay, shall we try this? Can you, it's a vibration, it's bringing the attention to your inner light, to your inner divinity, to your inner mastery. Okay? If you could all stand up and make your left wrist available. And the ones that are with me around the world, you just imagine white pomanda, white light, white quintessence with the quality of light and presence and a wonderful fragrance. And when you receive the 3 drops, drop them into your wrists and close your eyes. And let it be like a tuning fork, let your attention move to that which is more of light in you. Very good. Then you can gently rise your arms high above the head. growing wings. Imagine you're growing wings from the core of your spine to your fingertips. If you see auras, maybe you see sometimes that some people appear to have angel wings. So now you are the one. And then you can allow your wings to open and close above your crown, crossing over at the midline of the body, integrating the right and the left side, and bringing Serapis Bay, the pure light of presence, of consciousness, into all the layers of your aura. In the embrace, embracing the oneness of all things. In the opening to your inner and outer infinity. And then you let your wings open and close around the third eye, the forehead center. In the opening the curtains of all our projections. The moment we label anything and give it a name, it is a projection. In the embrace, embracing that capacity to see reality as it is. It doesn't need any interpretation. And a deep breath. Opening and closing your wings around the throat. In the opening, drawing the curtain of all our beliefs. Positive, negative beliefs, good beliefs, bad beliefs. The beliefs in the past have created a certain identity which is not you. As you open the curtain, you open yourself to the unknown and to the true creative impulses that move and express themselves through the throat. And the highest intelligence is the spontaneous creative response to now. We don't know until we respond. That is a function of the open throat. Deep trust and understanding. And then embracing your heart. And in the opening, drawing the curtains of all the shoulds and should nots that society and parents and religions have given us in the best intention. Because they didn't trust our innermost being as Satchitananda. And when you embrace your heart, embracing your innocence, your capacity to be the space for all experience, your capacity to be compassionate and open and loving. And allow your wings rest over your heart for a moment as you absorb the light of Serapis Bay deep into the silence, the stillness of the heart. And then opening your wings, embracing the solar plexus. In the opening, undoing your whole protective mechanism, your whole armor, all these strategies of separation that the ego needs to pretend to exist as a separate self. What is that? Comparison, competition, judgments, blame. Just let it go. And in the embrace, embracing your uniqueness, embracing the joy that there's no one like you in the whole universe. and yet at the same time you're one with everyone. Yet the expression of form is unique. And then embracing the lower belly, the second chakra. And in the opening, freely open your whole being. All the wounds, all the things that maybe have been emotionally disturbing, only need the light of your presence to gently transform. And in the embrace, you can embrace that vulnerable little child inside that simply sometimes needs your attention, your presence, to feel that it's okay to feel. And then opening your wings around the first chakra, and in the embrace, embracing this mystery, this incredible gift of the physical body and of your sexual energy and of your capacity to create a materially abundant life. That's first chakra. By opening to the abundance of the universe. And then around the legs, all the way down until you touch Mother Earth. And this is a very important moment. Just imagine you can let go of everything you know about yourself. Letting go of all definitions, of all labels. Labels from other people and your own labels. Just letting go. So for a moment you can be completely, totally empty. And you find even when you're totally empty, you are. And as you gently come up, just imagine that the light of Serapis Bay is kind of pouring into you as you allow your wings to unwind in a backward spiral, just unwinding the last remaining fibers of the mind until you stand open for a moment. More a being of light. And then you can bring your palms together and your wrists close to your nostrils. And taking 3 deep breaths of that fragrance into the temple of the body. Perhaps even sensing this light inside. Very good. And then we can sit. So I want to dedicate the light of the candle today to the recognition of your own light. That the consciousness that holds this body is actually pure light. Very good. and a little meditation. You can close your eyes, taking a few deep, conscious breaths. Breathing in deeply, breathing out deeply. A few more times. Trust the breath. Just this moment. Just allowing everything to be as it is. That is the basic principle of meditation. That space that allows what is. And we are all this space. And even when sometimes the mind comes in and tells us a story of limitation, who or what is aware of the mind coming in? We are. So whatever sensation appear in this moment or disappear in this moment, let your relaxed attention rest on that which is aware of things arising, of experiences arising and disappearing. Nothing to do here. Nothing to want, nothing missing. The deeper we melt inside, the more the structures of our personality are simply seen for what they are, more like clouds that have appeared in the sky and that can disappear any moment. And we are the sky. And sometimes we may notice that thoughts ask for our attention. And maybe we walk along or we drift along with a thought. And yet the moment we remember, we also remember that that which is aware of all experience has never changed. Thoughts change, feelings change, emotions change, body changes, our surroundings change. What does not change? That which is aware of all experience. In Japan they call it the empty mirror. Whatever appears in front of the mirror reflects. When nothing appears, nothing is reflected. Rest here for a while, as each out-breath takes us even deeper into the stillness, into the silence, into the wonder of the mystery of being. Feel this peace. Feel it permeating all the cells of your body. Feel how every cell is held in space, in light, in the divine. And in this stillness, it's like the still ocean. The water is the same all around the world. Similar, our consciousness is infinite. Stillness, peace, love, silence. In a moment when we are gently coming back, just bring with you these formless qualities that are always here. You can take a deeper breath now. Gently become aware of your body again. Perhaps moving a hand, an arm, a foot, a little stretch, until you find a good moment to open your eyes to a completely new moment here. Maybe another deep breath and a good stretch back into this body, this Buddha body. So we can open this, the little round here and the big round around the world. If there's anything you would like to share, ask, report, please feel free. And for those of you who are online with us here, you can write a note or a comment, and our friend Steve is here. He will read your note, and if it's a question, maybe an answer may come. Shall we chant a little bit? There's a beautiful chant that somehow points to the divinity of this moment in different forms. The words are Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Govinda. So Radhe, Radha is the feminine aspect. Radha is the wife of Krishna. She's also a divine being. And Govinda is another name for the divine. So it's beautiful in India. The chants are basically always addressing the divine, because it cannot be seen, it cannot be touched, it cannot be experienced as an experience, and yet it can be recognized and remembered as our true being. So we're going to play Deva and Miten. They have a beautiful version. And just let your heart, let the divine in you sing itself, rather than you being separate from it. And let your throat open. The chanting, how I understand the chanting, is it dissolves all structures of beliefs that are limiting us and that form a separate sense of identity from the whole. And when we open the throat, when we open beyond belief, no more identity, only a divine identity, which is not a thing anymore, but a pure space that we all share. So Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Gopal. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Govinda, 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 Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Gopal. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Gopal. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe
Tisler's saying her friend has cancer, and can you send some loving healing vibes to Stefan?
Healing vibes to Stefan. Very good. We do that right now. Just close your eyes and just allow this field of presence that we share. Just imagine that this field of presence is holding Stefan because he's part of this field. And actually I have a personal request also that our dear friend Branti, she's in the hospital also with apparently a very difficult situation where she cannot actually be operated, so she needs a miracle. So just allow that space, that what is touched in you, that is deeper than the form, deeper than the mental story, deeper than the limited personality, and deeper than the limited mind, and deeper than the limited body. Let that, I call it space or consciousness, let that gently hold Stefan's form, Branti's form, and any other being that has challenges with the body. Knowing that that which holds everything is deeper than the body. And the body has the capacity to spontaneously heal if that's what's needed. And that which is aware has never been sick, has never been limited, has never been disturbed, and has never suffered. Let's rest here for a while. This vast, expanded space that holds everything. And as we know in nature, as we know from our own body, the whole existence is a healing force. You know, we cut our finger, we don't do anything. The body knows how to heal. All it needs is to be allowed to be held in space, in love, in presence. So just imagine that this field of presence, of light, is gently holding also Stefan, also Branti, and anyone else who may be suffering physically or emotionally. And there's a beautiful healing mantra, the Bekkanse mantra that addresses the medicine Buddha in Buddhist tradition, which is exactly that quality of compassion and healing that is part of consciousness. And the words are Teata Om Bekkanse, Bekkanse Maha Bekkanse, Ratsa Samudgate Soha. You don't need to remember this, you will get into it in the chant. So we can join in. Yata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Teyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsa Samudgate Soha. Yes, may all beings be free of suffering, and may all beings recognize their true nature as love and peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And many, many blessings to Branti, to Stefan, and to everybody else who maybe needs them. And thank you, beloveds. Thank you for being here. We have a few announcements. Well, next Friday, again, Satsang. Tomorrow evening and Sunday evening from 7 to 10, and the next weekend from 7 to 10, Saturday and Sunday, I have a global online course that is organized by my Swedish friends, and it's on Zoom. It costs a little bit, and it's actually a course that I call Coming Home. And it's bringing some very simple insights and explorations into the group, where everyone can actually remember their true home. I think we are coming into a time where so many people had realizations of who they are truly, and then they forget and go back into their old habits, because old habits of the ego mind are just simply there. And so this coming home kind of honors and addresses the functioning of the mind and the personality, and creates a bridge into no mind. So in a way it's an ongoing satsang, where you also kind of get some insights into how the structure of our ego and how actually suffering is managed. It's an incredible creation. Until you realize maybe that's not who you are. So the course is called Coming Home, and the link for this is for the friends who are listening around the world. The link is on my Facebook page, or
It's on here too. Marie just put it in.
yeah, so Maria Paz puts the link into this recording. And for those of you here, if you're interested in that, just leave me a little note or tell me now, and I will send you the link. And it is there's the link guides you into the registration page and the description of the course. And it's kind of a first for me to do this like this, and the friends in Sweden are very, very supportive and helpful, and created a lot of advertising so that this may be a beautiful happening that continues to expand. And it is also a bridge to an online training that I already recorded, where there are 68 videos pretty much covering whatever I learned in this life. Concentrated into short 6 to 8 minutes videos. No?
And 68.
Sorry?
How many videos are there?
68. No? So many things to explore. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for being with us tonight. And many, many blessings to all of you. And thank you around the world for joining us. It's a beautiful possibility. And thank you for your chants. Isn't it nice? Sometimes to just, how can we say this except through celebrating the divine through our voices? Thank you. Namaste.